Welcome back, everybody. We are here at the Black Desert Mobile Championship for Ramoness. I am Valdez, once again joined by Joel, Sophie. We are back here for the second day of the championships. We did America region yesterday, and now we got two in a row, actually, Joel. We got a lot of Ramoness to play today, so how are you feeling today, man?
I'm very excited and just really getting ready for this tournament to begin. And we had a short one in America yesterday, going with the semifinals and straight away to the finals. And we obviously gave out that coupon code right at the end of the broadcast. That means having two broadcasts today, we will have two other coupon codes at the ready. So if you guys are watching right now, be sure to stick away to the end, and we will be able to provide you all the goods for watching this broadcast. But other than that, it's just another exciting matchup to come forward, and we all have four teams ready to play for the Asia tournament, and we will have four extra teams for Europe later down the line. We'll have about an hour in between those two broadcasts so that everybody's kind of aware after the Asia broadcast is done, just to stick around a little while, and we'll be right back with the Europe broadcast. But today it's going to be a little bit long, but it's going to be exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot of Ramoness right in a row, basically, with some little breaks in between, and we'll have to see how these teams line up compared to the American teams that we did see yesterday. That did provide some interesting games. You know, we had a lot of the lower-ranked CP teams actually doing quite well for the America region, but we are going to go ahead and take a look at the overview for this tournament and actually the rewards that you can win from being in this tournament. The champion is going to earn quite a lot of pearls. They get the special title of being the champion, but we got some new stuff in there as well, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, got the gold Ramoness crown, something that we haven't seen from Season 1, and we'll be giving out in Season 2. That means the Season 1 winners from the previous season, of course, they will be given their rewards that they didn't get. That's in this list. They will be getting that as an additional reward sooner or later. But for today's matchup specifically, they will be fighting for who can get the champion out of these four teams. They got the gold Ramoness crown, got the Black Spirit trophy, and it's going to be a golden trophy that you can set up as a camp decoration. That should look really nice. And of course, the Black Cape Puppy got a little bit of buff this season. We're going up to tier 5 to just kind of match up with how the current standard is for Black Desert Mobile. And you can see that the 4th place, they still get a Black Cape Puppy just nonetheless, but going from that 4th to 3rd already is like a big jump in terms of reward. You can see that the trophy is there, you can see the crown is there, and being the semi-finalist is good, but you know, you want to try to jump up as much as you can, get that extra pearls, and try to be as proactive as you can. So we're probably going to see all 4 teams be as proactive as they can today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are going to take a look at some of the rules as well for the tournaments. For you guys who did not watch yesterday, there is a little bit of a difference compared to this season and Season 1. You can actually switch characters in between games. So you will have 5 minutes in between games for character switching if you do decide that is what you want to do. Although we didn't really see that yesterday, Joel. So we'll have to wait and see if now maybe with some more teams today, if anyone decides to go for that.
Yeah, we did provide that option starting from this Season 2, but not many people throughout even the qualifiers to getting to the semifinals took really much of an advantage of this new system. We might see more of it once we get to Season 3 and future seasons for this Ramoness tournament. For now, it's open, so if anybody wants to do it, and if we see some sort of this time span between different games, you might see that becoming an option out there, but we'll see how that goes. So 5 minutes, if it does happen, if the team do request that option to be made, we'll see that. But another occurring issue right now is the grab skill. We did mention it briefly yesterday. That's where you can grab an opponent and throw them down in this kind of the exterior areas of the zone of the arena, and that allows them to get stuck on that little position and doesn't allow them to come back in. So we know that this issue has been occurring for a while, and the players and the participants, they're very aware of it as well. So it's a situation where we're all aware, just making sure you have to be extra careful about it, and we will set some procedures in terms of getting that rematch done if needed, and of course the disqualification if it does happen for a second time. So most likely it will not be a problem, as all of our participants are pretty aware of it.
Yeah, we didn't have any problem with that on day 1. I doubt we'll have that today as well, Joel, as we are going to take a look at some of the matchups from today from the Europe region. We do have the teams. Jinxed Morgan are going to be playing in the first semi-final, and then Bosu FF up against Love or Love Guild, as they like to be called.
Yeah, they are the representatives coming from the Love Guild. And you know that Bang Yun has been a participant in Season 1, and he's coming back in Season 2, making all the way to the semifinals again. So this is the only team, actually, from the entire Asia, Europe, and America combined to have returned for the second time consecutively and to come back to the semifinals. So they are the veterans, and they seem like they know how to play this tournament properly to be as consistent as they can in terms of results. Here they are at the semifinals. We'll be going up against a very tough team opposed to FF, who have shown really good resilience all the way through. But on the other side, Jinx and Morgan, we really can expect a lot of things from them as well, because they haven't lost a single game yet in this tournament. So coming into this one, this semifinals, the first one and obviously the second one going over to Bang Yun and the team, it should be a very exciting matchup overall.
Absolutely. I think this should be a pretty even across the board kind of setup that we do have here from the 4 teams of Europe. And as we did see yesterday, and this is actually Asia, sorry. For some reason I keep saying Europe. I don't know why that's I got that mixed up. But yeah, this is the Asia region, of course, and you guys, I think it should be interesting, because yesterday we did see that even the lower ranked CP teams can do pretty well and have good results and make it to the finals. So we're also going to take a look at the matchup that we do have here. The first one, it is going to be Jinx versus Morgan. We got Ninja Moose, Hanatoto, and Yobs, I guess we should, or Yobs we can call them, and NB, Azura, and Shankatsu Pros.
A lot of tough names out there about this. We all know about it, but both teams coming from Serenity, so representing the big server. As we know, Serenity, a very popular server in Asia. 2 teams, very strong teams coming in. As you can see, 5-0 record for Jinx and 7-0 for Morgan. That did come through as Jinx didn't have to play the round of 16. As the other team just did not show up, so they kind of got a free bye going up to the quarterfinals. So that probably would have made the other team at the quarterfinals and say, this time this team got a freebie all the way to go into the quarterfinals. So this team should be easy to beat, but it turned out to be a 3-0 record their way. So Jinx is a very strong team nonetheless, and we'll see how well they do against Morgan, who hasn't lost a single game so far, and they look quite good up to this far.
Yeah, you can see that they're both undefeated, and we will have to see who is going to take that first loss in this first matchup. It is, of course, going to be a best of 5, like we did see yesterday, semis, and the third and fourth place matches
will be also best of 5. Yeah, only best of 7 will be this best of 7.
Yeah, and we did go all the way to 7 games yesterday for that final match, and it was really down to the wire for that matchup in America. And guys, I'm getting the word that the games are ready to go. So enough of us talking. Let's get into the action as we do jump into game number 1 right now. All right, here we go. Right into this one, as it is going to be Jinxed in the red. No, they're in the blue. And Morgan is going to be in the red that we do have for this first matchup. Yesterday, a lot of the strategies we were seeing was try to get an early lead. If you don't, make a rush for Lagos at around a minute and a half left to go, and see if you can lock it down.
Yeah, and just to provide the highlights of what we should expect from both these teams, we got the Titan coming from Hanatocho, we got the Paladin coming from Asuras, and they both are the respective top players and the best performing players within their team. So you would expect the tanking roles, kind of the foundation and the control for the rest of the teammates to follow suit. They will be kind of the main point that we'll be focusing on to see which one outperforms the other in allowing the other teammates to follow suit with the damage. You got the Hunters, got the Rangers, and you got the ones that really come through. See how they do. The Raven also does a lot of damage in the midst as well, and we'll see how they do, because Hanatocho right now and with Asuras, they're going to be the big source of attention in these first few games.
Yeah, you can see that already. Team Morgan is getting off to quite a nice little lead here before the Lagos does spawn. Azura is taking a lot of damage here, though, in the middle. You were talking about the tanking and being the front line, but actually he's beginning to turn it around. It's actually, Yobs is going to go down. Hanatocho is getting close as well, and it is kind of total domination here in the beginning. It's not even just a little lead anymore. I mean, they are just crushing them in the beginning of this first game.
We would expect them, coming as a 7-0 record. There's a reason behind that. Just no other team in this entire tournament so far has really bothered them to say that this is a real competition that we're going to face, even in the semifinals when there's another undefeated team, of course, with a 5-0 record, looking a little bit lesser. But still, you would have thought this would be a pretty fierce competition to start things up. But for the time being, it's really just straightforward. It's Asuras and the rest of the boys just doing so well, gaining full control of this game. Almost double the points up right now, and they're going to see, they're going to try to see if they can continue on with this and keep this consistent as they can. As long as they can control the Lagos, and you can already see there's nothing behind them.
Yeah, this is a pretty big stomp to start off the first game. Really not much competition being put up here so far from Jinx, as it is really just all the Team Morgan show. I've been really impressed by Azuri. He's been all over the map. He's been in their face, locking them down, nearly going down, but securing kills, knowing his limits, and then, running at the correct time, always joining the fights right when he's needed. And they're just going to, once again, defeat all of the enemies and move up by more than 100 points, which is something that you don't often see here in the Ramoness.
And it's not really surprising since knowing that Asuras was a top-performing player throughout this entire tournament. He's doing it once again, and just getting all the orbs, just collecting points after points. He's at 81 right now individually, and unless you somehow take down this Paladin, which looks like an impossible feat at this point, it feels like this game one's going to easily hand it off over to Asuras and the boys from the side of Morgan. And this is going to be a big wake-up call from the other side with you're really going to wonder how Jinx is going to take this loss. It's not just a loss. It's a 137-29 loss. How did they come back from here about this?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, just at the end there with about 10 seconds left to go, they were just then jumping on Azuras, and that's a little bit too little too late, right? We saw a lot of the time yesterday, whenever anyone had the most points on the enemy team and they were in the lead, they were just hunting that one guy down. They were like, we got to get this guy and try to take his points and try to take a bunch away from the enemy team. But wasn't really, it kind of just looked like they didn't have much focus, in terms of what the goal was there once they fell behind.
And you also got to give credits over to the other two teammates of Asuras, really protecting the area around him to make sure that the distraction is there, to make sure he can't get to the main player, which was Asuras the whole time, but staying safe for the entire time. Almost 100 points individually, and that's going to go to game 2. Really worrisome for Jinx.
Absolutely. So, guys, I do get the word that game number 2 is ready to go, so let's hop into the Ramoness. Here we go. And really the focus of this one is Jinx is going to have to prove that they can actually stand up to Team Morgan, because so far it has been pretty one-sided here in the first match.
When you say Team Morgan, I say just against Asuras individual, can they bring this Paladin down? That's the big assignment that you give over to Jinx at the moment. This entire team has had no answers whatsoever against this Paladin, who's been so aggressive. You can see that going on Ninja News without a scare by one bit. Look at all that.
Just gets in there. He's going to steal the spear away, heal up his team. You take a look at the health bars after that play. Even with the freeze, not really going to help out the enemy side here of Team Jinx. And yeah, I do have to agree with you. He's always moving in and out at exactly the right times, and he's always on the move. It's not like he's sitting in a brush waiting, just hiding or something. He knows that he can find these orbs. He's going to pick up a lightning orb and take out Yobes there, it looks like, with the majority of his health, with the help of some of his teammates. And once again, just rule this early game.
I mean, Hanatocho was supposed to be the control role for this other team with Jinx, and not finding any opportunities to do so as Ninja Moves just single-handedly brought down two members from the other side, bringing him down like that. And Suras once again back on top with 21 points. He's been really good at hunting down orbs and just knowing exactly in the position and the timing of when they do spawn to get to it out of as much as he can, and this is a good spot for where you want to be with the Asuras and the team, and they don't look like they have any answers for Jinx on the other side. It really has to be Hanatocho with the time being able to come up with something and try to find an answer to bring this Paladin now, as he's been pretty much unstoppable from the beginning of this game.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the points once again. It's kind of a mirrored effect from game number 1, and you can see that they're once again trying to damage this Lagos and seeing if they can get ahead with a play on this if they do get the last hit. We have seen a lot of games turned around by that objective, so
here we go.
See how it does go in. Hanatoncho trying to get position there as the Lagos is once again going to go towards the side of Team Morgan, as it looks like MB was able to get on in there and potentially get that last hit. He's got the Lightning now. Moving around, securing some more kills.
100 points again.
There you go.
There's really nothing more to say about this. It's just full control. MBX has the top points right now only because of Lagos, but really the main focus is towards this Paladin, as Surus has been performing so well from the beginning of this tournament, and this round does not exclude from that fact. And this time, Hanatoncho, who's supposed to be the top performer on the other team, has been making nothing. There was no statements coming out of this time to say that I'm going to fight back in this one. Just going down after time, and really it's going to be a worrisome moment going into this next game, because we know this is the best of 5, and it all well could end after this game 2 ends towards the red side. If this game 3 ends the same way, we could be into for a very short round.
Yeah, it's kind of, the way these first 2 games have been going, if we might just have our first 3-0 of the game. Don't want to count them out just yet, but it has been pretty decisive in these first couple of matches, Joel, as they even dipped below 20 points there for just a moment. As there you go, game number 2, once again, quite simply going to be wrestled away there by Team Morgan. And yeah, I don't know, it's kind of rough if you're a fan of Team Jinx right now.
And it's hard to say, because even throughout the qualifiers, we haven't seen something this decisively towards one side of the bracket, and now it seems like coming into the quarterfinals, even Morgan looked good, but not this good.
Yeah.
In terms of coming into the semifinals now up against a very strong competitor and looking this good, to say that we're going to go into the finals and make a big statement to say that we are the favorites to win this tournament. And for Asia, they don't seem to be saying anything wrong right now.
Yeah, I mean, this could potentially make them the favorites going into the finals if they can just crush this hard. And we'll have to see if they do keep it up, as game number 3 is ready to go. Let's get into it right now. Here we go once again, and just like I said at the beginning of game 2, this is their moment to prove themselves. If you get crushed this hard twice in a row.
And the thing about Surus is that he's just going in 1v2 and not scared at all. He's fearless, and he's just going in, knowing that he's going to get the orb. Does get the first point. What is it with the fact that Ninja Moves and the rest of the boys from the Jinx side just has no answers for the Paladin at the moment? They got to be able to get to something. 2v1, 3v1, doesn't matter. As long as you get the momentum away from it, that would be a start for them to really start and mount a comeback in this series. But for the time being, they don't have much time left in figuring this out, because one game left to go, it feels like they could just be eliminated from the semifinals just like that.
Yeah, this is a good start, though. They get double Lightning Orb, and they're getting a bunch of kills up against Morgan. At this point in time, you can see Hanatoncho is finally enabled to kind of frontline and lock these people down.
Oh, just one more hit would have done it, though. Check out Gross.
Yeah. Even to pick up an orb instead. Now they're all kind of frozen, as this might be the moment to shine for Team Morgan, as they're going to get in there and take out Ninja Moves, pick up a bunch of objectives on the back of that one.
Yeah, but still, you can see that Asura is still keeping himself alive with 18 points. And now is the time for Hanatoncho, with the time to do something about this, for not allowing the momentum to shift right back to the red side, which, well, momentarily, it is now towards the blue side. Can they do something more to build on that to make this a more successful run for this Game 3 to really start them out to come back in a reverse sweep that they really need?
Yeah, this could be the one. This is absolutely a lot more even than the first couple of games, so looks like someone lit a fire underneath them. Probably losing a couple of games like that would do that, as there is obviously a little bit less damage onto the Lagos this time around. No team really feels behind. There is a bit of chip damage going down, though, as there's a lot of skirmishing here in the middle of the map.
There is a big focus on the Titan of what he's going to do in terms of positioning himself in the right way so that the Ranger and the Paladin come to from the behind can do something more about it. And Suarez, he's still looking for his options in terms of what his next move should be. And 7 HP bars on to Lagos means that they need to get going.
Oh, there it is. It's going to go the way of Morgan again, as it was a close one that time around. We had 6 members on the map going for it, but unfortunately the last hit, unfortunately for Jinx, I should say, it is going to go the way of Team Morgan, as they might just sweep with the 3-0 here, as they're hunting him down once again. Azura is in the front line, going to take out Ninja moves and not show any mercy at all. He's going to pick up another Lightning Orb. And with only 30 seconds left, might just be that repeat performance in game number 3, Joel.
And we just kind of retrospectively look back on this series from games 1 all the way 3. Why Asura's individually was so successful throughout the series was that objectives, big key, and being able to get that as a priority has been good for him. And most of the Lagos kills did come from Asura's and one from MBMBX, but this team understands the importance of the neutrals, understanding the points they can gather from it. And before Lagos, this game looked really close, Ramoness, and now it seems like the priorities are still paying off, and this game 3 will close it out.
There you go. 3-0 is going to be the score here at the end of the first semifinals, as it will go to Morgan. The team there with Azura is kind of leading the pack, picking up the MVP, I believe, for 2 of those games.
For sure.
In that one, as there you have it, just straightforward. No real fighting back there from Jinx. They looked a little bit better at the beginning of game 3, but once the Lagos was locked down once again, it was kind of the story was cut short right there. We didn't get to see the next chapter of that one. So, of course, Morgan is going to move up. Jinx will move down to the 3rd, 4th place match. And there you have it. Pretty cut and dry there, Joel.
Yeah, this naturally just follows up to the next question of how good is Morgan expected to be in the finals against a very 2 strong potential opponents that are waiting in the next part of the semifinals. We're about to look at the table soon and see exactly how this is, because right now, Morgan, very strong. They understand the objective, they understand the importance of it, the priority of it, and the rewards they can get as long as they can secure it from time to time. But both with FF and Love on the other side of the bracket are looking really strong. No matter which team jumps up to the finals against them, it has to be Morgan being a little more steadfast, understanding that this game wasn't necessarily all that hard for them, but this finals that will be upcoming for them should be a lot more entertaining in terms of multiple ways you can expect it.
Absolutely. We'll definitely be looking forward to that next semifinals, which will be coming up shortly, so make sure you guys aren't going anywhere. And that's about it for the first semifinals. We'll see how those 2 teams do in the future matches that they do play. And yeah, that's about it. We're going to go to a quick break, guys, before we do get to the second semifinal, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We're here at the Ramoness tournament for Black Desert Mobile. It is Season 2, of course, and we are in the midst of the Asia region semifinals. We did just get done with one, where Team Morgan was able to easily crush the competition. That was Team Jinxed in a 3-0 fashion. It wasn't close. The only time it was a little bit close was in the beginning of Game 3, and then it quickly became Morgan's again, so they really made a statement saying, you know, whoever's going to come from the other side of the bracket, you better be prepared because we are going to be a really great team.
Yeah, we'll look at the other bracket, of course, of exactly what's going to go on, but Morgan, as you said, convincing as they may be in the first part of the semifinals, 3-0 in a fashion that was the most dominating in a format of a semifinals. I mean, you talk about like 4 great teams coming in from all the way from round of 32 all the way to this point. And you would expect that it will be a fierce competitors back and forth in terms of teams going up against each other. But Morgan made it look like child's play for games 1 and 2 especially. In game 3, we thought that Hanatocha getting the control with the Titan and allowing that little bit of the resilience that they've showed in the early game 4. Game number 3 looked really good for Jinx, but after the Lagos, it was just back to square one. And Morgan, you can see that their plays were centered around just the objectives, the neutrals, and allowing the control of that. And they control the flow of the game once they do obtain that, and that's going to be the big focus of both FF and Love. We'll see which either of these teams, especially the one that does go up to the final, will be able to have control of the objectives as well and as effective as Morgan, and that's going to be the point that we're going to be focusing on, especially in the semifinals, to see if these two teams does have a decent chance against Morgan in the potential finals.
Yeah, that really is the question. You know, we're just kind of setting the groundwork for the finals that will eventually come. Of course, we'll do this semifinals, then we'll do 3rd and 4th place match, and then we will get to the finals, that ever exciting match that we will get at the end of this Asia region. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see which one of these teams is going to come through. As you know, obviously Bang Yinon, who was here last season, was doing pretty well there. So we'll have to see if he can, you know, ramp it up here for Season 2 as well.
And the only veteran coming in from Season 1 is going to be Bang Yinon and Margot X. Fireherd is a new member in this team, but coming from that same guild as what we've heard from the Love Guild. And they are coming in to represent the only team representing from Calpheon this time around. And we'll see how they do, because this team has the expertise, they have the experience, and they understand this competitive environment, if you will, of the Season 1 they experienced, now bringing that experience over to Season 2. You would expect them to have that upper edge, but their opponents, both FF, very, very popular team in terms of key individual players, especially with Sultan Pros, one of the top players in this entire Serendia and Asia region combined. So we'll see, centered around him, how well this team does against the experienced team of the Love Guild.
Yeah, so I believe that I heard that we're ready to jump into the next game. So guys, we do have the first game of the second semifinals here, so let's jump into that Ramoness right now. Yeah, so we're here, we're getting the zoom in.
And just letting you know, the producers did not want us to miss a single second of this action, and quite understandable, because Sultan Pros with the Tiny, it's sort of like the story from the first semifinals, where we thought that Hanatocha with the Tiny is supposed to be gaining control of this game, and Sultan Pros is really met with that same role as well. Abba Yusil has been a very, very strong player on that Ranger, coming with the Hunters and doing so much damage with the work, and we'll expect him to do it once again, but that happens only when Sultan Pros provides the groundwork in terms of allowing the other team to build up on it. And he's doing a good job so far, holding 14 points and just looking pretty good. And see how this team goes up against Love, as Bang Yinon hasn't been able to get much going in this game so far.
Yeah, they've been kind of flat so far, as you can see. Margot X is going to try to bait him into the brush here, but immediately it's a 2-on-1 and make it a 3-on-1, it looks like, at the last moments. Just easily going to be able to pick up another kill for their side. Another pretty one-sided early game here is going to go to the side of Bosu FF, as out comes the Lagos. Hello again.
Yeah, you can see the comfort level coming from Sultan Pros and the rest of the boys here from Bosu FF, and really from the other side with Bang Yinon and the rest of the Love team trying to figure things out in terms of what their strategy ought to be. And the Lagos gets a little bit of an early hit from Abba Yusil and the blue team right now, but it's still at 14-13. So not much to worry about playing right now. Let's see exactly what the priorities are. Prosperity still coming around to see what the options are, but Lagos is going down pretty quickly, so we might see a big factor of this before 1 minute mark.
Yeah, for sure. It's really going to come down to this last hit, but you can see that the Bosu FF is controlling the middle, but it's not going to matter. The last hit does go the way of Fireherd, who he's quite hurt, actually. He's got the majority of the points for his team, so
he has to survive. This is going to be so important.
Yeah, you can see he's trying to pick up the kills there at the beginning when he had the lightning, but now, absolutely, it's all going to be about surviving as the lead is once again going to go to the side of Bosu FF.
Yeah, Fireherd at 45 points. He's pretty much the last line of defense in Love's side in trying to get the hold of this win.
He got locked down. He's dead. Oh, there you go.
Sultan Pro is very nice.
Made that look easy.
It's quite good because Sultan Pro, once you do find him and go in with the Ranger as he did, it's going to allow him to just get all those points. He has 33 in the bag, but even if he loses his right now with so little HP, it's still not going to matter as much because the control is still heavily towards the blue side. That one player dying is not going to worry too much for them.
Yeah. A lot of the players have their points all spread out.
Yeah.
Only 10 seconds left. Even if one of them does get taken out here, as you mentioned, it's not going to make too much of a difference. And hey, why not just pick up an extra kill on Topangino?
There you go.
On your way to the victory to game 1, as it is going to go the way of Bosu FF here in game number 1. They, of course, were on the blue side there, so nicely done. You could see that even though Abayusil did get the MVP, it was more of a team effort in that one.
I mean, getting good control of points, 30-plus points for all three players is always a good sign, getting close to that 100-point mark for the entire team. And you can see that all the players really made their role count, just with the Titan obviously holding that ground, holding that control was very, very good for this team. But also with Abayusil on that Ranger doing just so well with the damage when he needed it. Of course, that comes with the provision of that support coming in from the other two players, which means that this balance of the team that's already been established for this specific team is going to work them very well for the next few games. And this best of 5, once again, it's looking towards the side of Bosu FF to be the favorites to win out this one. But Love Guild does need to make a statement in this game too to really come back in this one.
Yeah, they are going to absolutely have to do that. I mean, they got kind of crushed once again. We saw that in the first semifinal, and I was hoping that it would be a little bit closer here for the second one. But again, we'll have to wait and see how they do respond to that first game and having that happen. But it looks like game number 2 is ready, guys. So let's hop into the Ramoness. Here we go, back onto the battlefield. As you can see, it doesn't look like the Team Love Guild is really gonna try to get in there too much.
And they're still figuring things out, and you can see that Margot X wants to be kind of in the front of the game, trying to make a statement, make the initiation to see what the answers and the responses are from the other team. Banginon getting caught out is not what you want if you're the red team as the Huntress. That's not the player you want going down first, and for the team of Love, they do need to find things in a hurry because this game too is one step closer to being another sweep in the second part of the semifinals, and we definitely could see that if we don't see the red team finding answers very soon.
Just getting bunched up there and kind of AoE'd down even Fireherd and Margot X going to be assassinated.
I mean, mind you, Margot X is not a weak player whatsoever in terms of CP. He has plenty of it, but still going down like that with just like butter and in this game number 2. And that's just to the record of Sultan Bros, a very, very strong player, along with the help that's coming in from the damage-oriented classes. You can see that he's not done hunting quite yet.
Oh man, Sultan Bros is just so dominating on this Titan. He hunts people down.
Yeah, exactly.
He finds them on the map, he just charges straight at them and locks them down and allows his DPS classes in the back to finish him off.
And this is so good because, you know, Sultan Pros is exactly what you're supposed to be doing as a Titan, being that hunter. Kind of contrary to the name, we have a separate huntress, of course, but we even at the Titan just hunting people down, just aggressively going after one. And that's all you really need to do. Sultan Pros just providing the ground, prosperity, just putting out the lay work in terms of damage. You can have Abayusil after time and time, putting the damage as a ranger as well. This is a good look for the entire side of Sultan Pros and the team. Coming from Bosu FF, it is a very different playstyle as we saw from the first part of the semifinals, but this playstyle does work if you can do it successfully over and over again.
All right, they're going to try to go for this steal once again, but no,
man.
it is going to go the way of Bosu FF here, who is going to be picked up by Abayusil once again. On top for his team, looking for the extra shutdowns here. Panginon
3
down
points.
to 3 points.
That is heartbreaking if you can say yourself. And I know there's a lot of fans of the Love Guild at the moment cheering them on, but seeing Panginon at 3 is not what you want in this game 2. And knowing that, if this game 2 does go over to the blue side, as it looks like it will, game 3 doesn't look very promising for this team.
To be honest, it kind of reminds me of the first semifinals, Joel. They are going to have to pull something out like a rabbit out of a hat somehow.
How about you, Sil? Getting that 65 points.
Okay, I like the lockdown here. You can see they're desperately trying to
Oh,
burst
they
him
got
down.
it. They should be able to get it.
He's still alive.
Oh, man.
He's going to live here with 27 seconds left. Kind of invulnerable right now is this player, untouchable, if you will.
It's understanding to say that even if Abayusil does go down, it's not the end of the world for the blue side. He does go down and lose a couple of points, but you can still 122 to 44. That's pretty much the end of the game from game 1.
Yeah, they're pretty far behind at this point, is Love Guild. So that's going to do it. 3 seconds left. As there we are. GG is going to come through.
It's going to come back to us.
Not wasting any time.
No,
we are done with that game.
We're done. We're as done as we can be. We're here. We're back here again.
Yeah. They're like, start up game 3 fast because we don't have time after that
We ain't got
one.
time, boys. That's when we were here. But
yeah, that was
I don't know.
It's almost more one-sided than the first semifinals.
It's
Joel.
hard to say that it was, but seeing Panginon at 3 kind of said it all about. And the fact that the producers jumped right back to us in a hurry kind of told the whole entire story. They knew that this game was over before it was actually over. And this game 3, I hate to say it for a Team Guild, Team Love at this point, but they have to completely, dramatically switch up their gameplay if they want to have a single chance of going up against Bosu FF. Because right now, we really need to feel that the strategy they've been bringing up in game 1 and 2, it wasn't really much to hunt down one opponent at a time. That wasn't really the strategy. That was actually the strategy coming from the blue side.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, and Sultan Pro is providing that lay ground just to make that happen every time and then. But this time around, we see that the red team, at least from the other semifinals, we saw something from them. We saw a glimpse of what they were trying to do. We saw kind of a look at, oh, I see this is what they're trying to do. As long as they can succeed that, it might work. But this, we haven't gotten to see anything from Team Love of what their intentions are in this games 1 and 2, and what they were even trying to do for us to even figure out if this will work or not, because we haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, that has absolutely been the case. And again, they have one more chance. It's not over yet. That's a best of 5, right? We're not just going to close it out after that second game, no matter how one-sided it was. And really got to hand it to Bosu FF. I feel like they're, especially Sultan Pros, as you mentioned. That's like exquisite Titan play. He's all over them.
Definitely the MVP so far.
It feels like they just can't get away from him. And it's kind of sad to watch if you are a Love Guild fan. But that's just the way it's been.
I mean, a lot of people on the stream right now watching this broadcast will say, oh, Sultan Pros has a lot of CP. That's the only reason why they're winning. But he's playing well. I mean, you got to give him that. It's not just CP that he's just banging down people after people. But he's calling his teammate to come with him, and he's locking them out. He's not actually the one doing the most of the damage. No. It's actually the other players that are helping him out. And him providing that groundwork is regardless of the CP, and he's just doing so well at the time, exactly what you're supposed to do. And it's coming out pretty successfully so far.
Yeah, it's definitely working out. And just, you were talking about CP. I mean, we saw yesterday that doesn't matter how much CP you have, you can be almost 1,000 ahead, and that's fine. Like, you could still lose because it really does come down to the strategy and who's playing more proactive, I'd say. The
Yeah.
proactivity that is coming out of Bosu FF is really what's garnering them those kills, as it does look like Love Guild is kind of just sitting back, playing passively. They're not actively looking to attack the enemy players. We see that Margot X is mostly just looking for orbs, which is okay, but it does leave them a little bit underhanded, if you will. Like they don't have enough people there to help out when it does come to the skirmishing, and it does feel like Bosu FF is taking advantage of that.
And the thing is, we might actually have to take a break for right now because there is a technical thing that we're kind of working on in the studio. So about 15-minute break that we do need, but we have plenty of time to talk about these two teams coming into Game 3. We'll get a short break first, but I think once we're back, we're gonna be able to get back into it.
All right, guys. So we'll see you again for more of this action here at the semifinals after a short break. We'll be right back. welcome back, guys. We are sorry for the delay there, but it looks like all the technical issues are solved and fixed and worked out.
And will not return, hopefully.
Hopefully, they do not return, and we can return to the Ramoness. We do have the teams waiting still. Currently, if you guys are just joining us or if you forgot where we're at, Bosu FF is 2 points, 2 games ahead currently of Love Guild in the second semifinals. They're waiting to go up against Morgan in the finals for whoever does win this one. Whoever loses will go down to the 3rd and 4th place match up against Jinxed. So from what we have seen, Joel, it's been pretty one-sided today.
Well, I mean, it's the best of 5, Valdez, and semifinals 2. It could end potentially in this match of game number 3, and if it does, it might stir up an exciting story in terms of the finals. How exciting will that be? 2 undefeated teams in terms of the semifinals coming up to the finals. It should be very, very exciting because I think we're ready to get into game 3, and we'll see how this is all about.
Yeah, it also looks like we are ready to jump into that 3rd game, so let's see how it's going to go down in the Ramoness. Fight is the call. We get right into the fighting, and we'll see how this does happen here. He's actually spotted Margot X there in the brush, just taking some pot shots, and they're actually chasing him down.
Not wasting any time.
And they've essentially zoned them out for the 3v2 over there.
Yeah, makes it so easy for the blue team to start this off with some points in the bag with some PvP kills. Would be very nice to start things off, and hanging on once again stuck between 2 players, and this is not what you want coming up to this. And we'll see what happens here because the blue side, they're in complete control as they were in the first 2 games, and this 3rd game doesn't look any different in terms of prosperity, picking up the early points and seemingly be able to continue on with this to see how many more it can get.
Yeah, you can see that Margot X is kind of just avoiding the fights. This is what I was talking about after game number 2. He's kind of off on his own. He's getting orbs, which, you know, we've seen that strategy before, but it does leave the other 2 members pretty vulnerable to just getting crunched down on by the other 3 members. Although we do see that Margot X is doing a pretty good job for his team. He is alone up there at 19 points.
Well, since we're here at Game 3, let's just kind of break down the theoretical of what we might see from both of us if they do go up against another orb hunting team in terms of coming with Morgan on the other side. It could be a situation where they know how to play against the 3v2 scenario to make the best of it and to make it to the opposite team to say that orb hunting shouldn't be the main priority of play coming into this one. So if we do see a situation going up against Bosu FF versus Morgan in the finals, it should be exciting to see how they go up against Asuras, who's been so good at controlling these orbs.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see that Margot X, he's not exactly healthy. He's looking for some kind of healing orb. And there it is going to be, actually, right as I say it. The caster boon this time around as he does pick up that very valuable orb. This is actually looking much better in match number 3 for the side of Love Guild. They are quite ahead. They're going to freeze up the enemy team and look to get some damage down. They're not really focusing on the Lagos just yet.
And Margot X, when he does introduce himself with this team, he does call himself the Orb Hunter coming into this team. So he's going to be all about getting that neutrals, getting those objectives to make the best of it. You saw that salvation was crucial way earlier. He does so well to help out his team there. And Margot X, he does need to survive because 62's 37 up is a good sign for Love. After this, a little bit of a prolonged break, it did well for Team Love to kind of calm things down and to gather things back together to see how they can fight back from this one. But also, Lagos is going to be a big point of focus to see how these last 45 seconds land.
So close, 4 health bars here. Who's going to take it out is the real question. And now it's going away of Sultan Pros. Not his first time, as he is going to collect that lightning. He will also take out Margot X. And with only 30 seconds left, that might just be the nail in the coffin here for the side of Love Guild, as Sultan Pros is kind of just running around the Ramoness and owning it for himself.
I mean, why does it feel like we've seen this before in the first semifinals, the first 2 games heavily towards one side winning those games, but game 3 giving that hope over to the other team, seemingly looking like that early to the mid game, making it seem like it was very possible of a situation for them to win this game. But the other team, the dominators if you will, still keeping that name strong, and it seems like the A team, as it's always been, looking like the stronger team.
There you go. Sultan Pros going to pick up the MVP of that match. Very well deserved. I think us on the desk can kind of give him the MVP of the entire series that we did have there. That best of 5 is going to be owned that time by the side of Bosu FF. So that does make for an interesting finals now. We have two teams that crushed their opponents in the semis and are going up against each other. And we'll see who got the easier matchup, who's going to show up in the finals, and maybe we will even have another 7-game best of 7 or 7-game best of 7, if you will, between those two teams.
And I like to say it again. I mean, Team Love's kind of showed a similar play style as did with Team Morgan, really focusing around the objectives, really focusing on the neutrals, understanding the benefits of it, but still, Team Bosu FF was able to shut them down in that aspect. So coming into the finals, playing against a relatively similarly styled team against Team Morgan, can they do exactly the same of shutting them down? But what we've seen from Team Morgan was really dominating and was really convincing. So it's going to be an exciting matchup overall.
Absolutely. So guys, we're going to take a look at the results from that second semifinals and just the bracket overall. As we did mention, it's Morgan up against Bosu FF in the finals. But before we do get to that, we do have one bonus match. It is going to be the 3rd and 4th place match of Jinxed up against Love. They will be playing for, I suppose, the statue. You were mentioning that actually.
And the crown.
Yeah, the crown and the statues. You want to make sure that you do pick that up because if you get 4th, you don't get either of those things. Not even the bronze version.
Yep,
so
that's true.
You want to make sure that you're actually getting in there. So there's a lot on the line there. There's pride. There's rewards for the 3rd and 4th place match, and that will be the next one that we do have before that final best of 7.
There you go. Playing for a big step up for that 3rd place spot. We will get it after the break, so I'm very excited to get into it.
Yeah, for sure. So guys, once again, we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we will get to the 3rd and 4th place match of the Asia region. Welcome back, everybody, to the Ramoness Championship of Black Desert Mobile. And it's me, Valdez, with Joel once again. We're getting into the third and fourth place match of this Asia region. It is going to be, of course, Jinxed up against Love Guild, as we have seen from the results so far. I know a lot of you guys out there are looking for a code and wondering, what's going on? When is it going to happen? Where is it? Where did it come from? Well, guys, it will be after the finals. So if you're looking for that code, make sure to, stay tuned in, wait and watch the finals, enjoy that best of 7, and then you can collect that code and type it in and get all the rewards, of course. But, we do have to get into this first best of 5 first. Right, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, the last bit of third place match that we have to go with, but Jinx versus Love. I mean, you talk about Jinx coming in as a 5-0 team, getting absolutely dominated by Team Morgan. It was just a question mark as to how this team was so good previously, but looks really just outskilled overall against another team. It just really baffles me because Jinx is a team that beat Saren's team. A lot of people wondering where Saren is and where his team is, but this team was actually the one to knock out Saren's team 3-0 in the quarterfinals. That really puts them in a hurdle to say that Jinx is a great team, being able to beat out a lot of strong contenders, but just losing like that in 3-0 in the semifinals does sadden me a bit. But same thing goes with Love, because Love has been performing really well, I think more so than Season 1, performing a lot better in Season 2, but coming into this with going down 3-0 against their opponents in the semifinals, I think these two teams have a lot to prove in terms of coming out at the top, and there is a lot on the line from coming from 4th to 3rd.
Yeah, for sure. You get a bunch more pearls, you get the statue, right? You get the crown, and there's a lot of stuff that you would like to have. Of course, you do get pride and the title that you're 3rd place and all that fun stuff. And although actually I think the title is just semifinals.
Oh, boy. It's the same one.
Yeah, so either way, they will pick up that title. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see which one of these teams will be able to pull ahead. To be honest, I wasn't as much impressed by Love Guild. I feel like Jinx did a little bit more up against Morgan. But again, it's hard because we just see that one matchup. Maybe Bosu FF is just really just the best by far, and we get into the finals and it's a 4-0. That could also happen. But we do have to get to that stage of the tournament to see exactly what the case was, and which one of the teams that did win was much stronger than the other. But yeah, I mean, I think that if I had to make a prediction, maybe Jinxed in this one. You think in Love Guild? You
have to say that the Jinx team showed a lot more in the semifinals of coming back to this game potentially, but still ended up in a 3-0 nonetheless. So we're going to count them as equals for now and kind of see as it's a fresh new start for both of these teams to really prove all their worth. And this is their first time in this specific season to play in front of all these crowds, play in front of all this audience that are watching from home. And you can pretty much expect that both teams will give it their all to see who's going to come out at the top in the 3rd place match that we have right now. So as well as you say, it could just be Jinx team doing so well to win this 3rd place finals, but we might just be seeing Love, something we haven't seen from them before.
Yeah. Well, guys, we don't have to wait any longer. We can see what is going to happen in the match as it is ready to go. So let's hop into game number 1 right now. We go right into the action. Both of the teams they're not sitting back, they're not picking up orbs, they're getting right in each other's faces and looking for the kills.
You would imagine both teams are pretty angry from what happened in their respective semifinals that you would expect. I just want some kills, I just want some points right off the bat, and here they are trying to do exactly that. Hanatocho was supposed to be a big contender. He showed a glimpse of that in his Game 3 in semifinals, but nothing more than that. So he has a lot to prove for its worth of what he has shown throughout the tournament so far. And we'll see if this time he can really make a statement in this 3rd place match to give his team the best chance possible.
Yeah, so far a bunch of healing and salvation picked up here from the side of Jinx. And so they have been able to really just keep their health numbers quite high. As you can see, there is a bit of a difference. They are going to take out Panginon here as one of the early kills that they do get. Just a small lead so far going to Jinx.
And you can see that Hanatocho was really well focused on getting that orb past Panginon. You can see that Panginon, although he was running away from that cliff, if he was able to get to that lightning orb, he would have been safe and allowed himself to get kills along the way. But Hanatocho very, very focused to steal that away from him, to get the kill secure. And now, looking pretty comfortable ahead as they are 21-16 onto 2 players from the blue side. But we do see Margo X putting some numbers up and Panginon starting to come back in his game.
Absolutely. The two of them just sitting back, getting some objectives, but getting clawed out here actually is Margo X.
Just gets away.
He's going to actually get some healing as well.
Yeah.
On the back of that, and survived for quite a long time. Stunned down here though by Yobes, who's looking for the kill, picks it up.
That's it. It's going to be a good pickup, yeah, for Yobes, I would have to say. Getting to the lightning once again for Yobes on that 12 point. He was just around 5 points about 10 seconds ago. Now he's getting back into this game. But the question is, Panginon slowly but surely has been gaining those points, 23 points. This is not something that he's shown in the semifinals where they have lost 3-0, but this is a very good look from one of our key players that we know we want to focus on. Can he keep this up for the rest of the game? Hanatocho just trying to decline that.
We've seen Titans get in your face before and CCU down, but it didn't look like he had much support from his allies to get the DPS down. The Panginon was getting pretty low. He will bite the dust, but during all that time that they were focusing him down,
oh wow,
the rest of their team was just picking up so many objectives.
Yeah, you were talking about Panginon making all that noise, and it allowed Firehurt, the real key player that has been doing so well for the entire tournament. He's now stepping up with 29 points. Hanatocho trying to find him out, but it seems like the Paladin's waiting for the time being.
That is the case, as Lagos is getting pretty low here as a little bit of a last-ditch effort from the side of Jinx trying to burst it down, and they will be able to pick it up. Ninja moves. He's got the lightning now. He's looking for that kill.
Very healthy as well.
Yeah, he's going to pick up Firehurt here, and look at the points up in the top. It's so close, 77 all right now. The Panginon is going to be taken out here at the last second, and that is going to give Jinx the win with just 5 seconds on the clock when he was able to take down that pick. And also Ninja moves coming in with the Ninja move and stealing away Galagos, getting that last hit and picking it up for his team.
Yeah, I know some people from yesterday's game saw a lot of big Lagos comebacks, and some people to a point calling this a Lagoness game instead of a Ramoness game for how important
Lagoness.
for how important Lagos can be. I mean, you understand that you're losing for the majority of the early to the mid game. Get that big hit onto Lagos, and you allow yourself to do with that lightning so much damage. We know the potential of that. Now, it is to the fault of the other team that you risk so much with getting to a Lagos, but once you do lose it, you can't have 3 players clumped up like that, giving easy free kills over to your opponents as they did with Team Love. But you gotta understand that getting the Lagos is so important, but at the same time, if you're at the risk of losing it, you have to make sure your players are dispersed, and that's what was missing from Team Love, is probably the reason why they lost that first game.
Yeah, just a little bit sloppy there, I suppose, towards the end of that first one. But overall, I mean, that was the most even match, the most competitive that we have seen so far, Joel.
People are really liking the Lagoness, I'm telling you.
The Lagoness, oh man. But guys, game number 2 is ready to go, so let's hop into that right now. Okay, here we go. Coming on into the match once again. A little bit less aggressive. You know, they're not all bunched up in the middle this time around. Maybe getting rid of some of that anxiousness, some of that anger that they might have had from losing in the semifinals.
And for sure, I'm not really all that worried for Margo X, Firehurt, and Panginon for Team Love, as they look really, really good actually in that game number 1 to put themselves ahead for majority of that game. But just that Lagos misplay is the one that really kept them down. But Firehurt has been very good as he was for the entire tournament. Panginon made a lot of early noise, which allowed the other 2 teammates to prosper. So if they can get this going once again, trying to keep Hanatocho down, this is looking a good look for what is planning on to be a series where it could be a very close matchup than you think with how game 1 ended.
Oh man, look at this though. Hanatocho is taken on 2 by himself. He is going to pick up the kill on the Panginon.
And he gets away. Barely.
Yeah, he's he's going to get away. He even was able to pick up an objective there. Still somehow alive.
Isn't his HP bar black, though? Well, now he goes.
There he goes, yeah. It took him a while. Ninja moves.
We know he's still alive.
Oh, really?
I think he's still alive, yeah. I see him on the corner of my eye, and he's still crawling around. Oh, I say that. I think that Stannis went for longer than it did.
Yeah, well, either way, looks to be dead now.
He's dead, yeah.
I would imagine. Yeah, there he goes. Gonna respawn with full health. As Ninja moves, it's a little bit of a rough spot here for Jinx. Ninja moves most points, but he's pretty low. Although Yobes is going to be able to pick up that kill.
Firehurt finds him.
Yeah, and the objective, though, so pretty even, but a small lead here towards Jinx.
That kick at the end for Firehurt. That's all I needed. And this is looking good because you were talking about a lot of points being gathered by one player at a time for the blue team, but with very low HP. This is the worrying side as they are able to manage out to win out those fights every now and then, but they're just coming out so injured that it's just so easy for Firehurt and the rest of the boys from the red side to finish them off and steal the points away. So if we're in a situation where Firehurt, Panginoon can stay alive somehow through this.
Oh boy. Bit of bullying there in the corner as Firehurt does get isolated, and once again these two teams are really not doing any damage to Lagos. So if they're going to go for it, it's going to have to be that last-ditch effort like we did see in game number 1. As there it is, Firehurt is able to freeze up all the enemies. That might be their opportunity, although Hanatoto is just being so annoying on this Titan.
Doing very well, but Ninja moves with 31 points. That has to be the main target for the red side to go along here. And they're getting to it, but there's not much support going towards Firehurt. He's there by himself trying to 1v2 against him. That is definitely not going to work, and that means Ninja moves well protected for these last 15 seconds. Should mean game 2 victory over to the blue side again.
It should mean that. They're going to take out Firehurt and Margot X. As Panginoon, he's all alone, but he knows he's got to pick up some kills. He
Ninja
takes down Ninja moves, but 3 seconds left. Can he do it? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to, and that's going to be another win once again, going the way of Jinx. So, again, another pretty interesting match, right? That wasn't really a Lagos game. We're not playing the Lagos there in game number 1, and it was down to the wire, right? It really could have gone either way, but some of those skirmishes at the end were just better played by the side of Jinx.
And just really, point management now is something I want to really focus on here for game 2, because blue side, as they lost a lot of the key members in the early game of, holding so many points onto one player, but with such little HP, losing that player once after again, and you thought that would happen through the end, kind of dement the call for what we saw out of Jinx, but we saw in the end a much better point management of one player, single player taking all that points, but being able to keep that and maintain that and protect the players around them. It was a good series of play that the red team just could not break through, and that's the reason why the blue team with Jinx 2-head.
Yeah, so there you go. I hope, Joel, that we don't get another 3-0. I think we'd like to see some more even series, but that's just not the way it's been going here for the Asia region. The better team is winning out, and we'll have to see if that does happen once again as Game 3 is ready to go. Let's hop into it now. Fight is called, and the game does begin. Be looking for some of those early plays. I love just watching Hanatoto on the side. He's always just in somebody's face, like, okay, you're gonna have to deal with me. You can't just run around the map. I'm going to grab you and just keep you in that one place for a really long time.
I mean, you know what it is, though. Hanatoto is very proactive in his role. He knows exactly what the role is supposed to be with the Titan, and he does so well with it. And he does communicate very thoroughly with his teammates to make sure he follows him alongside that, so that any type of picks, any type of grabs that he gets, it allows the other teammate to really benefit off of that. And we've seen that come up to success so many times before, where even Team Morgan, you remember back to that play as Suras with that Paladin doing such a good centralized role, it really provides a lot of opening, a lot of opportunities for your team to succeed. And Hanatoto really taking that horn and allowing himself to do exactly that role, and they've been pretty successful with that so far.
Yeah, well, in this game it has been a bit of a different story, as it is just full health bars on the side of Love Guild, and they are going at them. You know, the points are split up. They've been taking the early kills and all the objectives. It has just been the Love Guild show. We'll have to see if they can keep it up here. As, you know, once again, they're just isolating.
Okay.
Ninja moves looking to go down. The Orb's also incredibly low.
Firehurt, very proactive there to make sure you get that finishing kill, and you can see that the well dispersion of points, as you do mention, Valdez, 23, 16, 15 is a good look for Team Love to potentially get this first game of the semifinals, where we first started this game and we started this tournament in this live stream. We might just see the first win being experienced on this live stream, and that will be a good look for Team Love to come back in this, because it is a best of 5, and this potentially could be the last match unless they come back here and try to pick up that couple of points that they do have to escape it for the rest of the game.
Yeah. Well, you can see that Margot X is getting pretty low, and a bunch of focus and damage is going on to him. You can see they're trying to chase him throughout the map here on the left side. He's just going to try to skirt around and avoid any kind of battling here for now. Doesn't want to do any damage to Lagos either.
The big assignment right now is to the other two players, with Firehurt and Panginon providing a lot of distraction, so that Hanatocha, as he is doing right now, just bursting into that lane to doing the damage onto Margot X, which finally does go down. This means that Firehurt and Panginon has to stand still.
That's a couple now. Panginon could be next. You can see they're trying to focus him and the Lagos down at the same time. And they're doing quite a lot of damage there. The respawns finally coming in, but can they secure the last hit? Yes, they can. Lagos is going to go down, and Hanatocho in the lightning is going to pick up more kills, and they can't even take him out as he's low. He's going to be healed up as well by the salvation. That is a deadly combo that should provide them the win.
That's pretty much a victory right there, Valdez. I was a little bit in disbelief of Hanatocho in this game 3, as he wasn't able to do much for the majority of the early game, but just it doesn't matter if your first impression is bad. It doesn't matter if your middle impressions are bad, as long as you get the Lagos, Valdez, and you're really clinching up. Even with that salvation is the key to clinching this victory, and this will be it. Looking very good. Jinx, a very well-deserved team from the semifinals who didn't show much, finally is able to really overcome what they've lost in the semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. Just dominating them there once again. And it really came down to that one play that, with the Lagos alive in about 45 seconds, the two members getting picked off there on the side of Love Guild just kind of opened up the middle for Jinx to say, okay, we have 3 against 1. Banginon's on the run. He can't really stop us. Let's just burst it down before they can respawn, and they just barely were able to sneak that through right before the respawn guys were able to came out and really contest it. So it gave them a much better chance of picking up that objective after the first 2 kills, which really just snowballed it into that win.
Yeah, we've seen it again from the America region, while that decisiveness plays to so much success, and we've seen it again in this last specific game. Bursting down the Lagos in a timely fashion. That's all you need to clinch that victory. So 3-0 victory to get that 3rd place. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jinxed in the 3rd. But guys, we do have the finals coming up next. It is going to be Morgan up against Bosu FF, and you guys do not want to miss this. Should be a really even finals. We're hoping, we're crossing our fingers, but we will get to that finals after a short break, so don't go anywhere. We are back here, guys, at the Ramoness World Championship, and we are getting into the finals of the Asia region. It is going to be Morgan up against Bosu FF, and we've had nothing but stomps today. We've had 3 3-0s in a row, and now we're just hoping that finally in the finals, in a best of 7, where you have even one more chance to get a win and not go down 3-0, to potentially see at least a close match here.
I mean, we can take a look at the exactly what we've been going on for the entire day today. Semifinals all the way to the third place matches, and now we're here at the grand finals. And if we can look at the matchup overall, it's been Morgan stomping, and it's been Bosu FS stomping, I should say, but in 2 different characteristics, I would have to say. The 2 different types of play styles are very distinct from one another, and Morgan very focused around the neutrals, very focused around the objectives, and knowing the advantages of getting that and gaining control of the match from as it starts from the first second on. Bosu FF, they're the hunting squad. They're the one that really centralized around Sultan Pros to go up on him to make sure he can pick out the target, and for the other 2, the Abayusu and the Prosperity, to come up with and to support him with the damage. That reinforcement has been very effective against Team Love. But now going up against Team Morgan, looking like a much stronger team from the opposition, this should be very interesting as to how well this strategy works against another team that is focused around neutrals, as we found at Team Love. And it's going to be very interesting because if we look at these 2 teams, Morgan and Bosu FF, 2 teams that have been very successful throughout the tournament so far. Morgan is still undefeated at 10-0, still coming into this finals, and we're expecting them to really put up a fight.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to say from the 2 semifinals who is going to be the big winner coming into the finals, of course, because we haven't seen these 2 teams play up against each other. And it's interesting, too, that it's very different from the America region, where we had actually the 2 lower Supi ranking teams, 3 and 4 going head-to-head in the finals. Here we have number 1 and 2, so it should be pretty evenly matched, I'd like to say. I don't think these 2 teams are too far off when it does come to CP as an average, and it's just going to come down to the better team will win, which style of play is going to come out in the end. We were talking a lot about Sultan Pros, and his Titan play was pretty insane. Up against Azura's, I think that's going to be a highlight matchup there for sure. And we'll just have to see, which team is going to come out on top this time around and prove that, their play style and their ability is better than the enemy teams.
Yeah, both of these players, as you mentioned, Asuras and Sultan Pros, they will be the key factors in determining how successful their team will be in this best of 7. So we saw yesterday in America's match that we went all the way to Game 7 to decide the factors, but now we're here in Asia up against 2 top-ranked CP teams. Gonna be some high-power action. Really gonna be very interesting to see how the strategy determines them from the rest.
Yeah, absolutely, and we should be jumping into that momentarily, guys, so hold on to your seats. And we did mention this before, but the code is going to be given out after the finals, so make sure you watch through all the finals, enjoy the play, and then afterwards, during the break, you will see the code up there on your screen. But guys, I am getting the word that the finals is ready to start, so let's hop in right away to game number 1 right now. There we go, not wasting any time. Already the game has started. And just fighting back and forth here. You can see the difference. Abayusil is actually being chased down.
Good first target for the blue team to go for the Huntress as the first prey. And this is looking very good now. Sultan Pros now has something to do in terms of setting things up, but look at that. Prosperity.
Yeah, I hope the rest of the series doesn't end up this way, Joel, because already the beginning of the first game is a bit of a stomp, as Abayusil was started down, you were mentioning, and then both Prosperity and Sultan Pros were just in a pile there, getting pounded down.
Although Sultan Pros didn't go down after taking all that damage, I'm sure as a player playing this game of Black Desert Mobile, he isn't used to his HP getting drained like that from 3 very, very strong players coming from the other side. You saw that the CP rank was in favor towards the blue side just for a little bit. So that means that Shenkatu Pros, Asuras, and MBMBX has nothing to fear in terms of the pure power level that they are going up against the red side here. So Sultan Pros, although he's very famed for having so much CP with so much power level in his bag, the blue team, they're not worried about that. They're trying to strategize their win into this championship that they're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about how they are a more objective-based team, but they're doing both, right? They're getting kills, and because they have total control over the map, they're getting everything, all the orbs, all the objectives. And you can see that Lagos is taking a bit of damage, but already very far behind here in this one is Boso FF. We'll see how they do as the Lagos is being targeted down here.
And if you are Boso FF, I think you're really shocked to see how this first game is beginning to be. MBMBX at 31, Asuras at 27.
Yeah.
None of these 3 players from the other side come even close to it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the other side and you see Prosperity has full.
Oh,
so
man.
There you go. The Lagos gets taken out by MBMBX. And he is just going to own the Ramoness right now. There's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. There is a minute left, and we'll have to wait and see if they can mount some kind of miraculous comeback, but it doesn't look likely as from second one, Joel. It wasn't like this was a slow build-up. From second one, very dominating here was Morgan as a team.
And not many times do you see Sultan Pros running away and not being aggressive and hiding in the bush to try to get away from the aggression that's coming from the other team. This really shows the attitude that's coming from the blue side. And a complete wipe. That's all you need.
Wow. This is the finals, by the way.
Yeah.
Guys, you know, this isn't the round of 64 or 32 or whatever the beginning one was this time around. And it is extremely one-sided here. And
It's a
BMBX
blowout.
is just running straight into them. He might be actually taken out here. Down he goes. A little bit underwhelming at the end there, but it's not going to matter. They are way too far behind Boso at this point. And there you have it. 2 seconds left. Game number 1 will be going towards Morgan in a landslide victory here in game number 1, Joel.
This is not what we expected. In this game, number 1, Boso FF looked like possibly one of the strongest teams in the tournament. And now going up against... now, we have to put it this way. Ranked 1 and Ranked 2 says a lot about perhaps this team is just so much stronger than the other team to really say that as a statement, but not really. The terms of the difference in the actual CP difference of the average players, it's actually not that different between the two sides. They're almost evenly matched. So
Yes,
it's
very
really
close.
It's really not the CP talking. It's really the strategizing from that first second you say, from that aggression that was shown by MBMBX and the rest of the boys coming in from Morgan. They are looking like the better team, not just because they're purely stronger, but they're really outplaying them in every moment on.
Yeah, I think one of the first things you said, Joel, was actually it kind of highlighted their strategy. Abba Usil was just, he looked totally useless there on the map.
Exactly.
And that's not because he wasn't playing great. It was because they were hunting him down, and there was a lot of lack of damage after that. Even if Sultan Pros was trying to go in and lock them down, there's no real follow-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Very different from their game up against Love Guild. So, guys, it looks like game number 2 is ready to go. Let's see if this one can be a bit different as we hop onto the Ramoness.
No, I'd say not competitive at all was the first game, and now we're expecting this game too.
Doing it again.
For a little bit of a wake-up call. You gotta understand that Abba Yuso has to be protected. Sultan Pro just can't run away and hoping that something happens, and really expecting Abba Yuso to keep himself protected? That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Huntresses need some help from the teammates to make sure he is protected. But that lightning is really not helping out for the red side, is it?
Yeah, you can see right from the get-go, it was target on the back of Abba Usil, and Sultan Pros did try to help, but then a lightning orb spawned right where they were fighting. They were like, oh crap, and that did go the way of the blue team, so it was a nice little start for them, but fighting back here.
Okay, look at this. And BNBX about to go down. I think he does, barely?
Yeah,
He is, right?
he's done. I heard the sound. Sultan Pros did pick up a kill. And so, yeah, he is going to respawn here. And now it's time. It's time for Boso FF to get their revenge.
And I think they kind of maybe caught back onto the rhythm of things and really understanding the pace of this game now. Sultan Pros going up against Azuras, not backing down. But he does need that little bit of a reinforcement coming from Abayusil and Prosperity. But Abayusil just kind of cornered out in a different position. It's not where you want it.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see now that it's fighting back once again. So this one is what we expected from the finals. You know, a bit of a back and forth. But as you do see, bit of a breach at the banquet hall.
Just a side note.
May want to check that out.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean, after the last 20 seconds or so, that pop actually distracted me.
Hey, you know
last
what
20 seconds, though, is very much in control of Azuras, who is kind of taking the game into his hands.
Well, Azuras, he does need to be careful. He's about to go down. Just a little bit of HP that he has to hold on to. That's going to be it.
Does get taken out, but he has, you know, built up a nice little lead for his team at least, and now there's very even points on their side, as the Lagos still pretty just about halfway down, you could see, and now Abayusil is actually getting a lot of room here to put out that damage. They're going to take out MBMBX.
Looking very good, actually, and the focus is not really going towards Lago until now. It's going to be a good situation, but the last hit is going to be so important here, Valdez.
Yeah, let's see who's going to take it out. You can see Sean is trying to get in there, and he is going to pick it up. Shankatu Pros able to get right in there. We haven't really been calling his name before now, but he is going to be the hero of this game as he is able to pick up that last hit. And now trying to get in the face and do a bunch more damage and try to extend this lead that they have, as they're now, you know, about 2.5 times the points of their opponents.
Oh man, I mean, Abayusil, you saw him there trying to 1v1 against Shankatu Pros. That went well for the time being, but nobody else from the red side came in for the backup to try to win that fight overall, while the other two from the blue side were coming in to fight that and just win it as easily as they can. And while this game 2 looked a lot closer for the red side overall, this is looking like it could be towards the favor of the blue side once again as game 2.
Yep, there you go. 1 second left. And even though they were able to claw back a little bit in terms of points, it was still a decisive victory to the side of Azuras and his team of Morgan. And yeah, you know, at least that game for the beginning was back and forth. We saw a good start there from the side of Bosu FF, but it wasn't too long lasting, Joel.
But I have to say that game 1, it really did worry me as to whether Bosu FF can come back in the series to even have a chance. But game 2 really showed that as long as they maintain control throughout, and that Lagos once again was the key pickup for the blue side of Morgan to really gain control and dominance over this game. But that means that game 2 showed a little bit of promise over to the red side to see that this game 7 could be a potential thing as long as they really pick up the forces in this game 3. It has to be the start for them.
Yeah, if you go down 3-0,
it's tough. It is very, very tough.
It's almost like an omen from the Asia region now. It's like 3-0. That kind of means that you got dominated real hard and you're not going to win, because that's all we've been having today. And so that will be the real focus there from the side of Bosu FF, not to go down 3-0 and to make this a real series. We do have game number 3 ready to go, so let's hop into that now. Here we go, right back into the match. You could see that Abayusil actually leading the charge here on the right side of the map.
That's good of Prosperity to stand right next to him for protection in case he needs it. And does have MBMBX covered on the flank, and that's going to be very good to start things out to make sure that Abayusil is protected for him to do the damage when Sultan Pros calls a shot. And the first one there, going up against another Hunters of Shankatu Pros, but not real backup coming in from the red side, other than MBMBX providing the protection. It's going to keep him alive.
Yeah, slammed down here a little bit. Sultan Pros trying to help out with that one, but he is going to be able to survive there. Skirmishing here in the middle for this monument. You can see they're trying to control the map. Nice little spin coming in there. The side of Sultan Pros, nothing new. We've seen this before.
MB will go down. Does that mean we're going to see a little more aggression coming from the red side as we do see the salvation? Yeah, healing back towards Sultan Pros. It's going to allow him to be a little more free to jump up and down to make sure can get to the next opponent in line, and NBNBX looking like the next target for Sultan Pros. Can Prosperity help him out?
Yeah, that seems to be the question. Shankatsu Bros goes down again just a moment ago. Lagos going to spawn up here. We haven't really seen that fight back that we saw in game number 2 this time from the side of Method. So let's see what they can do. They pick up that salvation. Might be able to allow them to stabilize.
Not much to, yeah, but you can see that all the members were relatively healthy, so not much to do with that specific salvation. But if they get a chance at it once again, especially around the Lagos one's about to get the last hit on it, that could be a good opportunity. Now, speaking of Lagos, it's 52 down to 35 with 10 HP bars onto Lagos to see exactly how this will unfold here. It's just really interesting to see how this is going to go. NBNBX still very low. This gives a good opportunity for the red side to try to clamp down on it and try to get the steal away when they can.
Oh, who's going to pick it up? Here's the question.
Oh,
it goes
my,
the way
really?
of blue team again.
NBNBX.
NBNBX, he is the MVP here twice in a row. Able to save the game from a really dire spot.
And they were actually behind in terms of numbers. 3v2 going onto that Lagos. NBNBX had a very, very low chance of getting that last hit onto Lagos, but still doing well enough to get that kill in the bag. But this is just so important of a situation where we thought that game 3 was heavily in the favorites going to the red side for maybe a comeback mounting opportunity. But now we're looking at, once again, NBNBX, although he's a little bit low, but as the Raven that he is able to get away just finally in this last 30 seconds. As long as the protection is there from the other players, it should look fine.
Yeah, they need to get MB and they need to get Azuras. That's really the question. If it comes close, down at the end, we still got a 10-point difference.
Okay.
They fought back, and there you go. They pick up Shankatsu.
But Azuras, that's what they need right now. 41 points.
There's so little amount of time.
7 seconds.
They might be able to get it. They got it. They're going to be able to come back in the game. And they're going to make this a series after picking off the last 2 or 3 members there from Morgan. And okay.
I love that aggression coming from Sultan Pros. Never say die attitude in that last few seconds. He wasn't going to give up for the last bit. He got that last kill onto NBNBX, and he got that last kill onto Prosperity as well. This is the moment that you're really realizing that Bosu FF is not going to go down with that fight. This is the one moment that you could have said, oh, we're so behind, and they got the Lagos, and it still looks like it's going to be just the same as game 2 all over again. Why don't we just give up and just go home from here? But there was that one man in Bosu FF who decided not to give up, and that was the time. That was the time we saw from Sultan Pros. Very proactive to go to it at the last few bit of seconds, and that's all they needed because that confidence is there. They have the power to back it up, and these are the sort of the characteristics that you need to continue to show if you want to come out, really make a comeback in the series.
Yeah, I mean, that was just, you know, you had to have imagined how devastating that would have been to their mental in that moment in time, right? Just to have the Lagos taken away by the same guy again.
Yeah.
But they were able to come back and make it a series, thankfully. We finally have one team that's willing to fight back here in this best of 7. So, guys, game number 4 now is ready to go. Let's hop into that. We are back in here as NB. We immediately go over to him. And he has been a very key player multiple times now. And it does come down to the Lagos fight especially.
Oh, look at that confidence now. Sultan Pros, he's feeling it now after that game 3 where he practically single-handedly won the game for the team. Not just in terms of playmaking, but the actual attitude that he brought in the last few seconds of that game 3 to never give up in this matchup. And he is here once again to call out his teammates to say, guys, we don't need to give up here. We got the power to do it. As long as we can just be organized, go after 1 by 1, you can do it. But how about you still? This is not the thing that you want to see. The Huntress just kind of laid out there 1v1. This is not what you want.
Yeah, that is true. But then we do cut back to Sultan Pros beating down another member, but he is quite low. He's trying to just run away at this point in time and keep the lead that they've got. If Morgan can take out this member as they do.
NBNBX, the power.
He's angry.
Oh man, yeah, he must be frustrated though. You gotta imagine game 3, that really game-changing steal you saw that from to the Lagos in that game 3 was going to be the MVP play of NBNBX in that last minute or so. But Having that stolen away, all that attention now going towards Sultan Pros would have probably frustrated him quite a bit. So he needs to show a game that he hasn't been able to prove in that game 3 where he was so close to winning.
Absolutely the case. You can see now he's leading the charge up against the wall. Up against 2, even by himself. You got to be careful running into Sultan Pros, as he has shown what he can do. He's going to lock you down once again. Now MBMBX is struggling to get away from Sultan Pros in this kind of 1v1, and the extra damage from the lightning coming on in, and they do pick up that kill.
And these last 1 minute and 30 seconds, once again, heading towards the favorites of both FF. We didn't think we would say that after seeing 2 losses in a row in a pretty dominating fashion coming from the Morgan side. Both FF is really fighting back, and they can do so having that 52-43 lead that they do have. But with the Lagos, once again, that will be a point of aggression, that point of attention to see how Sultan Pros and the rest of the boys from the red side will be able to gain control around the zone.
Yeah, you can see though that Abu Seal was taken out at a very crucial moment. The Lagos getting pretty low here. Trying to take that fight up against Prosperity though, who is going to pick up lightning at this point in time.
Lagos.
Yeah, the lightning damage is coming in onto the 2 of them actually. So many of this buff is coming in. We got 4.
Shankatu.
It's so close to the points. Who's going to pick it up?
Abu Seal.
Team. Abu Seal does pick it up. There's not that much time now for Morgan to try to come back. They're trying to pick off Shankatu here.
They will. Are we going to get a series, Valdez? I think we might. Abu Seal picking up that kill onto the Lagos is going to be so crucial. We want to focus our attention onto this guy, but he hasn't been able to do much until this point. Now it is his opportunity, along with Sultan Pros, to make a big statement. 115 points is something that we haven't seen from this team for a while. Until the semifinals we've seen, this is looking good as we're finally able to get the series back to even to Game 5 to see who the winner is, because we have no idea from this point.
Yeah, now it's essentially a best of 3 as both teams are tied up at 2. Who is going to take the next couple of wins is the real question, as games number 1 and 2, very one-sided. Games 3 and 4, much closer, but then a very obvious stronger push coming from the side of Bosu FF. And you were talking about confidence. You were talking about, finally getting you're holding your ground in this finals and showing that you have the ability to do so. It has really benefited Bosu FF, and they look like the stronger team here now.
And I think right now the momentum will play a big factor in terms of how this series will roll out, because in this game number 5, we're not expecting both FS to back down at any bit. If anything, they're going to go in very hard, aggression, and it's going to be showing from the first second on. And now it is towards the side of Morgan to regain that confidence that they have shown from the first 2 games, that they know as long as they play their cards right, they will be the stronger team overall. But they've kind of lost that confidence over the past 2 games. It is up to them to mentality-wise to regain this game back to their favor.
Yeah, and it has looked pretty one-sided there towards Bosu FF. We'll see if it can get a little bit more even now in game number 5, as we are ready to go into that. It's all loaded up, so let's jump on to the Ramoness. And off we go once again, back in here. And I do want to point out, though, we were talking about the 2 Pros members, I suppose, and Shankatu, he's been hunted down very effectively. You remember the first couple of games, Abu Seal was just like hunted all around the map. He was given no amount of room. Now I feel like it's flipped the other way. The other Huntress now is having a lot of trouble with all of the pressure that Sultan Pros and Prosperity are putting onto him.
And around Shankatu Pros, there's nobody around. Asurus is there somehow, but NBMB is finally getting to him. But you need a little bit more protection as you do with Shankatu Pros. Can't just go 1v2 as they do. But NBMBX trying to find that protection as they can, but he does need to run away.
Yeah, he was over there trying to protect Shankatu, but may have gotten himself into a little bit of heat here and dropped himself into the fire. Sultan Pro is not going to let him go down. Without a fight, he gets taken out. And a nice little lead there.
And it's good to see him back on that confidence roll. That really showed him a lot of dominance for his entire team in the semifinals. But back in the finals, the games 1 and 2 looked really weak for him. And now in this game 3, going to game 4, and now in this game 5, looking just as strong. just as confident as Pro. But even if he does die out, it's still a good look for the red side if they want to count on him to make all the plays to make the initiate.
Yeah. A very minuscule lead here. It's basically not a lead, as both teams very even here, even on health going into the Lagos phase. We do see the first death, though. Abu Yusil going down. Still very healthy is the side of Morgan team.
And we were thinking about this Game 5 being an opportunity for the blue side to make a comeback mentally. And I think they're doing just that. A very, very close matchup so far. All three players clumped up together. In this case, is actually a good scenario for them. As Shanghai 2 Pros, he was far away from the opponents. That's not what you want. But in this case, NBNBX and Asura's gaining forces to combine them to increase their power overall can be a good look. But Slagos is going very low for that.
Yeah, it's 5 health bars here. Who is going to be able to take it out?
Should be the red
down
team.
it goes,
Oh!
so it's blue, as Azurus actually is going to be the one to pick this one up. As, you know, he's been a little bit quiet in the last couple of games in their losses, but finally he's able to pick up that big objective. Doesn't secure any kills with the Lightning, but the team is cleaning up now.
Yeah, looking very good now. You were talking about how Asura's have been pretty quiet and under the radar for most of the games 1 and 2, even up to games 3 and 4. But Asura's now putting work into town, and now he's going up and then putting in the damage where it's needed. And now he's the one gaining that confidence where we saw Sultan Pros gaining that over the last 2 games. And this could be a good call for them to go into Game 6 to maybe think about the fact that they can win this final in a hurry under Asura's back, who's been playing very, very well in this specific game.
Yeah, Azura's here with a gigantic lead when it does come to points. He was able to clean up the rest of the enemy team and then essentially just kind of run around. You don't want to have
look at this, though.
happen again as Lightning.
Pros and NBNBX going very low.
So low, there's only 9 seconds. Okay, they're going to pick up one. Can they get the other?
But it has to be Asura. They have to get to Asura somehow.
Doesn't look like they're going to be able to do it. 1 second left.
Just 1 second.
And that's not enough time for them to come back, as there you go. The win will go once again back to Morgan as they take the lead after Game 5.
And you were looking like that last few seconds where it was heavily towards the side of the blue side for sure. But if you were talking about that one player holding on to all that points, if Asura's had gone down, because the other side did have the power to get it done, as long as they had a couple more seconds to do it, this could have turned out very differently along the favor, but still we see going back towards the blue side once again, getting that favor, getting that 3-2 advantage that they do have. Going to this next series, it's match point once again, but this is looking a little bit different in terms of the first 2 games looking so dominant. This Game 5 wasn't as dominant, but they still do win out. So now it gives a little bit of hope for the red side to really still come back in this and make this a very exciting series, because so far it's been pretty exciting.
Yeah, I mean, clearly now we do have a very even series. I think that Bosu FF came out a little bit flat in the first 2 games, but the 2 teams seem very evenly matched. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get to another Game 7 and another finals. That would be a nice little treat if we could make it there, but it will be up to Bosu FF to potentially come back and make that happen, as now they got to win 2 in a row against a very tough squad that Morgan has proven themselves to be. So it looks like game number 6 is ready to go, guys. We are just going to hop straight into it. Let's get into it. Starting off with a split screen showing the 2 main guys, the key players that we have seen.
I mean, Asura's finally has waken up, and this is a good sign for the blue side to finally count on him to make the plays, as Sultan Pros has been doing for his part for the red side. Sultan Pros can't be too overconfident as he's losing all that HP going into that hurdle like that.
Oh, Sultan Pros, okay. That's it's not a great start for you, as he gets just popped there very early on, but Shankatsu also in a similar situation, being chased down.
Now, biggest point of interest right now at this point is looking at Asura's and how well he plays. He's been running around the map very nicely in Game 5, which is primarily the reason why this team was able to come out on top once again in this advantage. He has been the successful orb hunter, if you will, but now getting searched down by Sultan Pros. There's nobody around him to finish him up, but Propensity just might be able to get to there.
I just keep seeing Sultan slamming down members as Asura's does go down. And he is doing a great job frontlining and isolating once again. And And they're looking for, okay, they're going to pick him off. Shankatsu once again there on the left side. This is a nice little lead already for the side of Bosu FF.
Yeah, if not anything, Sultan Pros and the rest of the boys coming from Bosu FF, they really need to focus down on Suras. They did it one time, but they need to do it continually to make sure that this Paladin gets out of his rhythm. And that's what you're wanting if you want Bosu FF to come back into this Game 7, hopefully, to make this a competitive series until the very end. Sultan Pros has been pretty hot until now. He needs to be careful to play his calculation game correctly to make sure he jumps in, knowing that he can still come back out alive. That's the calculation that he always needs to make. He's been pretty good at it so far. Let's just see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, it's all eyes on him essentially at this point as the freeze is going to come on in. But nobody really taking any damage. They're actually taking that time to burst down Lagos and, you know, take some space away with that point lead that they do have. Talking about Bosu FF here. As Lagos already halfway down. It's pretty close as we do get a big kill onto Abu Yusil. That might be their moment.
Oh, but look at this. The Suras getting the double kill.
There you go. They take out the Huntress and then they take out the other two.
This is the free Lagos. I would have to say just get it. This one only 4 HP left. I think this is
Yeah,
such
let's go
an
for
easy
it.
one. There it is.
There it is. They pick it up. The lightning gets put in. And
Is this it?
that might just be it. I mean, Azurus comes in and he makes a statement.
Wow.
He's like, I'm taking this finals. You will not take it away from me.
Yeah, as if he wasn't the MVP already of the entire tournament. He comes back at it. 63 points. Very, very healthy to stick around for these last 40 seconds. Now, do mind you, Sultan Pros and the rest of the boys right now will be going all at it just to
All
get
in.
a series in. Because you have to get those 63 points away, and that will give them a distant chance to bring it back into this one. And they might be able to.
Okay.
Oh, and they get it.
There it is. There's the kill. And actually,
Okay.
this finals might not be over.
Oh!
As everybody's going to be wiped out.
Sultan Pros just going hyper mode right now.
MB gets taken out, and there's only 10 seconds left
Oh
now.
my.
They have to get onto Abu Yusil. I think that's the only way. Maybe Sultan Pros.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like there's any time,
That's
though.
it?
2 seconds, and the comeback is real.
Oh my.
In
This
game
is
number
so,
6.
so good.
Oh, man. We were not expecting that. We were already singing the praises of Asuras. Oh, he's the MVP. No, that is not the way it's going to go.
Wow.
Not yet, at least. It's Game 6, and we do get extended to a Game 7. Sultan Pros and the boys over at Bosu FF, they were angry. They were all in, and they were able to extend it one more
Hey,
game.
let me tell you, I don't think there was any trucks back in the middle age area where the story is kind of set behind for Black Desert MOBA, but Sultan Pros was a truck in that last 10 seconds, just rolling over everybody. He didn't even need
Big wagon.
He didn't even need a reinforcement. Well, wagon, as you say, we caught the third wagon coming into the merchantry, but all in all, we saw Sultan Pros not even looking for his teammates' help. He just single-handedly rammed over everybody in that last 5 seconds, and about 50 to 60 points turnaround in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's all it needed. And
It's
now we're
massive.
back to this Game 7 where we hardly imagined it to be. And now it's really towards the side of MBNBX. It's out towards the side of everybody at the blue side to really feel, can they come back from such hyper aggression that they experienced in that last 10 seconds?
It's rough to feel like you've won the finals and then lose it in the span of 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Right? How are you going to come back from that mentally is going to be a big question for sure for Morgan. And yeah, I mean, Sultan Pros went in there and he's like, no, you're not the best player. I'm the best player.
There you go.
Actually, it's me, remember?
Yeah.
And we did not forget. Thank you for reminding us, essentially. As game number 7, guys, it all comes down to this. Who's going to win in the Asia Region Finals? Let's find out. Well, Joel, we were hoping for a even match in the finals, and we've got
Boy,
exactly
do we
that.
have one. Oh, man. It is about as exciting as I've ever hoped for. And you know, for the first 2 games, I was a little bit worried as to, is this going to be a blowout? Is this going to be a series where we don't see Sultan Pros act up as he did in the semifinals? But now he is acting up. We saw that in the last 2 games, and this is where we are right now. Game 7. 3-3 and nothing between the 2 teams, and we can see everything coming upon in this early game, but it really is going to go up to the late game. How much of a momentum has both of these teams have built up until these last 2 moments, and we're going to see if that's going to be the decisive call. crown the champions of tonight, because either way, those teams are very deserving of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And already in this match, you can see the difference between the two teams again. Azurus, he's going around, he's getting objectives. He's not really taking out big members. He's just building up his points and being a presence. But I was just watching Sultan Pros. Here again, he's going to help take down Azurus. And once again, just get in there even though he's low. He's like ruthless. He's always in their face. He was 1v1ing Shankatsu early. And just he's able to heal up now. He's just unstoppable, this guy.
Well, I mean, he's going 1v1 against MBX, and he does get some reinforcements, which will keep it alive for now, but it will go down.
Yeah, he's going to bite the dust there, but at least he does get MB low. And, yeah, I mean, that's going to be good now that Galagos is spawning up. We'll see if maybe Bosu FF can use that to their advantage and take down a low member, but it's not going to happen just yet.
Yeah, so far this has been the best series of the Ramoness tournament we've had so far in Season 2. And not to take anything away from any other matchup, but really is the awakening aggression of both of these players from both sides. Sultan Pros on the Titan, and we've seen Azurus have his moments back in the back again. It's going to be up to these two players. Who's going to be one to outdo the other? As this is the last game, there's nothing left to save here. Got to give it all here about this.
Absolutely. And take a look at the way that Bosu FF has been playing this. They've been getting multiple members low on the enemy team, but they haven't necessarily taken them out. So now they're going to take down NB. Azura's very low, but it will actually go the way of Azura's team, as Azura now trying to get that damage down, but the Salvation
they're just
waiting to
waiting.
help out. Oh man, they're going to actually stick alive, and this game, once again, we've learned it is not over just yet. Azura is very low.
But you gotta find a heal, you gotta find a salvation, some way to keep Azurus alive. It doesn't matter if MBX, it doesn't matter if Shankatsu Pro stay alive. If they can't keep Azurus left alive for these last 40 seconds, that will be it, and they do go down here.
Azurus goes down 71-71.
Oh my, so close now this.
Yeah, Shankatsu goes down too, and right now the Ramoness is ruled by the side of Bosu FF, but there's still 25 seconds.
Sultan
is going to be able to pick up another member. MBX goes down, 20 seconds left. And can they actually take out this Titan? And I'm not sure that they're going to be able to. The Salvation comes in, and there's not enough time, Joel. 10 seconds. As Azurus is actually going to be the one that goes low.
And the aggression coming in from Sultan with all that HP.
Oh man, I think that's going to be the end here. Sultan Pros is going
2 seconds.
go down.
Oh,
but it's not enough.
Oh, it still will go towards 85. Sultan.
85-81, all calculated in the
Oh,
end.
man.
Just making us freak out there a little bit, but that is Bosu FF picking up the win off of, oh man, a crazy comeback there in 2 games in a row.
I have to give it to Sultan for keeping up with his personality of never say die.
Yeah.
He almost died there. You have to be very careful.
He did. He died.
He died and gave away all those points, but it's still 85-81 at the end.
Yeah.
That was a close call, but it still is going to go over to Bosu FF in the end. An
Yeah.
unbelievable finish to this series, and it has been never being able to predict exactly which team was going to win.
That's the way it's supposed to happen in the finals. That's the
There
way
you
that
go.
finals are supposed to go. Crazy game 7s that could go either way, down to the last second, literally, where they do pick up that last kill onto Sultan, who just throwing caution to the wind. As you said, he said he's the best. And we all kind of knew that as well. He did not show us any fear. So congratulations, as we are going to take a look at the victory screen, I believe. Nope, just the bracket here of them on top first.
Bosu FF with Abba Yusil Prosperity in the lineup, but the man of the hour, we all know who it is. Sultan Pros proving his worth again. He's gained his fame already in the CP rankings of Serendia, of the entire Asia region, but now he is, along with his teammates, as the best team in Asia for Ramoness, and here they are deservedly winning this championship and getting that gold trophy to boot. I'm sure Sultan Pros, for as long as he plays Black Desert Mobile, he's going to remember that moment, and he's going to remember this trophy as something very iconic, because this is going to be a game that all of us will remember for a long time.
Yeah, Bosu FF has a team led here by Sultan Pros, essentially, in his play and in his actions, essentially. Abba Yusil also putting out tons of damage. Got to highlight him. Prosperity helping there at the end with a lot of the CC and the support for his team. And just a great job from the entire team. And really fun style of play as well.
Super
I have
fun.
to say. It's very fun to cast and watch.
America has been a little bit strategic back and forth and just go in at times, but back out when it needs to. But Asia, front. Talk about acceleration on that feet. I mean, just put it all the way through. And Sultan Pros, the number 2 team, once again coming over the number 1 team. That's another thing that we need to mention.
Yeah.
The CP game of Ramoness that everybody's been hyping about. You're still seeing overcoming of these numbers. Just numerical things does not define the champions of this game. Yesterday, America, the 4th ranked CP team, came out to be champions. And here, number 2 coming out over number 1. It makes a lot of sense that you just got to have the right mentality. You got to have the right attitude. And boy, did they have the attitude today.
Yeah, they absolutely did. So congratulations to Bosu FF. They will be the champions of the Asia regions, and they absolutely deserve it. And guys, that is going to do it for the Asia region. That was the finals. Make sure you're staying tuned for the code that is going to be coming up here in the commercial. So we're going to go to a bit of a long break.
An hour and 30 just about.
Yeah. A pretty long break, so make sure you guys are just sticking around, hang around in the stream, and we will have the Europe region up next in about an hour and a half. So stay tuned, guys. We'll be back later.